Hello, colleagues, family members, friends, Dr. E. Jean Pemberton of Indus Education. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. Well, today is January the 24th, 2026. I'm going to say it again. Oh my God, we are already in the month of January in this brand new year, 24 days locked in. Listen, hopefully, if you are watching this video, you are already locked in towards making this year amazing and great. Well, I am coming to you today because it is a significant day for me. It is my anniversary of when I was ordained as a minister. And so, as I think about 24 years ago, 2002 is when I was ordained as a minister. All of the things, all of the ministry God has given me the privilege to be able to be part of and to serve his community. To God be the glory. And I just want to say, if I've been able to have the privilege of being part of your life, your situation where you trusted me, I appreciate your trust. I appreciate you being so kind and allowing me to be able to serve you. Well, today is not only significant because it is my anniversary, but also today I joined other classmates of mine, high school classmates, as we treaded down the road. It's icy outside, it's snowing outside, but we went to my church, well, a church that I was a member of, my father ministry's church, to say our final goodbyes to a classmate who meant so much to us. As a matter of fact, all of us who graduated together in high school, we have a strong, tight knit class. And anytime anything happens to one of us, we all come together. We spend time together. We do it throughout the year, but we especially come together as a group and we love on each other. So I love that so much about our class. But recently, one of our classmates passed away. He was so loved by so many people, not just our class, but the community, his family members. He loved his family. He loved people. He was a people person. He had an incredible smile and a huge personality, and God called him home to glory. And so I just want to remind us all that how life is so very precious. I saw him 2 years ago at an event. He was so wonderful, so kind. We took pictures together. He took pictures with a lot of people. And, just again, not a stranger, not a mean streak in him at all. And getting a chance to spend time with him was a blessing. I look at, just my timeline of being around him and our classmates and pictures that we all have together and how we grew up together, went to middle school together, high school. Some of them actually went to elementary school together. I wasn't in Texas during that time. So just a very close knit. And so thinking about that, thinking about ministry as a chaplain, being a preacher, a chaplain, a minister for 24 years ordained, you know, um, whenever I come into a space where we are saying our final goodbyes to a loved one, or I am with family members, helping them prepare for their final goodbyes, I think about the importance of getting our lives and our affairs together. And so, this is one of those turning 60 videos that I'm doing as I am getting closer to the 60-year mark, just reminding me how life is precious, life is short, and the importance of making sure that Jean has her affairs in order. So I've been working on this process for a while now. I would say probably for about 4 years, and even more so, I thought about this process probably first when my father passed away in 2002, and all of the things we had to go through, my sisters and I, with our mother preparing for my father's, celebration service, and then going through the process of his property and working on all of that. Now, we didn't have to worry too much because everything, when my father passed away, went directly to my mom, and my sisters were really, really good on helping her to organize and get set in regards to my father's finances. One of my sisters was really good at that. For me, it was the ministry side of it as the minister to make sure those things were in place as well. So we worked collaboratively together in regards to that. And so I'm grateful for our partnership and our sisterhood that we have, my sisters and I. When our mother passed away, we were at a better state because our mother was staying with one of our sisters, and we were pretty much towards the end of her life, working in partnership with her affairs, with her finances, with her medical circumstances and situations, her livelihood, her lifestyle. So we were pretty much navigating and working in partnership. So we had a very good knowledge of our mother's situation, whereas we didn't have that same thing when it came to our father, because our father and mother took care of their business. So we weren't really involved in that. But again, dealing with our mother passing away in 2025, and even today with our classmates, it just reminds me of the importance of having your life together, having your affairs together. And so you have to ask those questions. Do you have your affair together? And you have to be real about that. I know sometimes we don't like to do that because we think it's taboo conversation. We don't want to jinx our situation. But listen, when it's your time, it's your time. Your time could be 20 years from now, 30 years from now. You just don't know. And because we don't know, we have to be responsible, especially turning 60, to make sure that we have our affairs in order. So, one of the things that I have done and that I am doing to ensure that my affairs is in order is to make sure I have a will. So, what does that look like? A will is very important because a will help you to make sure that your items are given to the right person and is in the possession of who you want your property to be in when God calls you home. I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like. For instance, if you're a part of an organization, like I'm a part of quite a few organizations, including a sorority. And so when I pass away, and when God calls me home, I do not want my children to just put all of my clothes in a box and send it over to a location that I have not designated for. So, for instance, for my sorority, I definitely want to make sure all of my para goes to my local chapter. For some of my clothings, I have a location to a woman's shelter that I would like my clothing to go to, as well as any type of jewelry to be a blessing to other women. I may have dishes if I'm not donating my dishes to my children, to my grandchildren, or any type of furniture, something that if they don't want it, I don't want it to just be thrown in the trash. I want to donate it to maybe a home that is housing the unhoused or helping with families. So that those things are very, very important. So you may think, okay, I don't have a lot of money. What's the purpose of a will? That's the purpose of will, to make sure that what you do have is designated and goes to someone else or to an organization or to your family member who you want to be in possession of your items. Another piece that's very important to think about is if you have transportation. For instance, if you have a car, a truck, a vehicle, you want to make sure if you have a car note that you have insurance that pays off that car if anything happens to you. Okay, so that your car is not just does not go back to the lender, but that car can go to a loved one, and you want to designate who you want to have that car. Also, if you have property with a mortgage, you want to make sure you have insurance that covers the cost of paying off that mortgage, and you designate who you want that property to go to if and when you pass away and you have a mortgage. If you don't have a mortgage, you still want a will to determine and to state who you want to have possession of your property. All those things are important. If you have a checking account, an investment account, a savings account, emergency fund accounts, whatever accounts you may have, you want to make sure that you designate to your children, your spouse, your family members, your siblings, whomever is in your life or an organization, you want to designate who you want all those funds and resources that you have to be designated to when God calls you home. That's why a will is important. So whether you have just clothes, you still want to have a will to determine where you want your clothes to go to. If you just have a car, the same thing. If you have jewelry, watches, dishes, furniture, all of those things play a part. And if you have a will, it just prevents any type of conflict or confusion where family members don't have to go to a probate court in case they're not on the same page when God calls you home. So make sure that you have a will. The next thing that I'm going to recommend, which is what I talked about recently in another video, is to make sure that you have a financial snapshot. A financial snapshot. Make sure you know your income. You should know that by now. Your expenses, retirement information, accounts, and debts. And debts. That's right. You want to make sure you know your debts. Okay. We should already know our expenses. We should already know our income, and you need to make sure that you understand if you plan to retire in your 60s, what does that look like, and are you going to be financially fit in order to retire in your 60s? If not, in another video, I've already talked about some of the things that you can do to help yourself to get better positioned financially. One of the things that I'm going to recommend in this video is get with a financial advisor. Okay, if you can, get with a financial advisor. If you are currently working, a lot of times those organizations have partnerships and relationships with financial companies like Fidelity, Vanguard, JP Morgan. Just you can just go to connect with them and ask them for a representative and set up an appointment to speak to that representative. Take the time and be strategic and intentional when it comes to knowing your financial snapshot so that you can set the pace and set the tone for turning 60. Okay. You do not need to be in your 60s living just wild and out financially. You have to have a clear picture, not be blindsided, but to have a clear picture of what your finances look like and what you need to do. Listen, I'm going to say it one more time. What you need to do to make sure you are financially fit. We need to do to make sure that we're financially fit. Okay. We do not need to be in our 60s in the blind when it comes to finances. So, first of all, make sure you set up, create a will. Number two, make sure that you have a financial snapshot of what you look like. Okay. So that you can know where you need to go and what you need to do to be financially fit. And then I'm going to say this again. I'm probably going to say this often in my videos, turning 60s, declutter, 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 declutter your situation. So listen, turning 60, it's time to get rid of some clothes that you haven't worn for God knows how many decades. It's time to get rid of some of those dishes. I know, just you don't need 25 plates. It's just you, boo. Your kids are grown and gone. You have your spouse, you may have grandkids, but listen, give them paper plates. No. And you guys keep the little plates. That's what I'm talking about. But you don't need a whole bunch of stuff. You don't need a whole bunch of furniture. It's time to declutter. Because if you don't declutter, if anything happens to you, your kids are going to do it for you. And if you get sick or if anything happens where you're no longer able to take care of yourself as you get older, you're going to want to still have certain things that's going to help you to live a quality of life that works for you. And so you want to make sure you keep the things that are extremely important to you. And then those things that you can negotiate with, maybe take a picture or photo of those items, upload the photo to a cloud, start scanning some of your paperwork or upload your paperwork to a cloud. And then the little trinkets that you have, just start reducing some of those things, or maybe again, take a picture of it and just have that picture posted in a cloud somewhere, upload it to a cloud so that you can start decluttering. Decluttering is so important. I know when I started to declutter, I felt so relieved. I felt just a weight off of my shoulders because when you have so much and you're surrounded by so much, sometimes being surrounded by so much can be very heavy and daunting. Just recently, my son was over and went into my room. Was like, "Mom, your room has got so much stuff in it." I was like, "It's my room, and my room is cozy." He's like, "Mom, your room is cluttered," and so I said, "Okay, that means I'm gonna have to start looking at some things again." And then cleaning out my room because again, that's a sure example of God forbid anything happens, everything that's in my room, my children just gonna get rid of it. They ain't gonna keep it, which I understand. But I want to make sure, first of all, I have a will to designate where I want things to go. Number two, as I continue to move forward with my life, moving into my 60s, that I am decluttering my life so that I can have a quality of life, right? That's so important. All right, that's my little spiel and my little spiel for turning 60. celebrating my 24 years in the ministry, and then making sure I'm staying warm because this weekend is a little bit cold. So I want to stay warm as well. But just sharing with you some things that I think will be helpful for us as we are preparing to turn 60. We need to get our life in order. The other thing I want to share with you, I have, yes, I went too far. There it is. You should be writing a book, a guide to writing and publishing a book by Le Coup. That's right, by moi. Published my first book. That was one of my goals to publish a book in the month of January. My book was published earlier, and so I'm so very excited about that. So please go to my website at induseducation.com. That's induseducation.com. Go to my website and order a copy of my book. I've got 5 more books down the pipe. One is a devotional. Well, I have 3 devotionals, but one devotional I'm praying to publish no later than March. So it'll be sometime like February, March, sometime around then. It's going to be published. I'm really excited about that. I also have some papers that I'm going to publish. So listen, I am decluttering and I am moving forward with accomplishing some of my wonderful goals. All right. So do me a favor. First of all, put in the comments if you are in your 50s, if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, turning 60, wherever you are. And then also share with me some of the things that you can recommend to me as I am turning 60. What can I do to make sure that I am living the golden life in my 60s? Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure that you like this video and then share this video with someone who you know will benefit from this video as we are turning 60 together. God bless and have an amazing day.